Yo, what's going on, guys? Back at it with another video. Anime shit like it's always gonna be. And if you're not fucking used to it by now, I don't know what to tell you because that's all this channel is gonna be because I'm a nerd. Anyway, um, today you can tell from the title what we're doing. Today is I think July 19th, 2025. I want to just say it's July, and this is gonna be my personal top 10 oh my god, so original. Yeah, I'm sorry. Top 10 favorite anime that I've watched up until this moment. And this is going to be 10 animes that are not my favorite, but subjectively, in my opinion, the best 10 anime I've watched. I'm sure there's anime out there that I haven't watched that could be put above a couple of these. Like, for example, I've never seen One Piece. I've never seen Gintama. I haven't watched the Monogatari series or Bakemonogatari. Those are all options I've heard that are really, really like some of the best shows in anime, and that would be on this list, but I have not seen them. So, fair warning before everyone comes at me about One Piece, I haven't seen One Piece. But yeah, I just want to make a top 10 video because uh most of you guys don't really know like what I like to watch or like what my taste is. This isn't necessarily what I love to watch per se, but these are some of the best shows that I think I've ever seen, and I'm gonna give my reason for each of them. It's not just some bullshit ass like, oh, I love how they did this one thing. No, it's a good reason overall why I think these shows are very, very good and they belong in the spot that they're in. So yeah, starting off hot. Before y'all come at my next like, oh my god, so original. This is on everybody's number one list. I have been watching this show since 2016 when there was only one season of it out. When it was on hiatus for like what it came out in, I think in like 2012, 2011. When there was a hiatus of like 5 episodes, I watched it in 2016. I got lucky because the second season was announced and it came out in 2017. But I watched this show in 2016 and I've been a fan since 2016. I've damn near watched every single episode of this show that has aired like the day it came out. Like every single episode since 2016. And if you guys are good at timestamps and you guys know when this show was airing, you can probably assume what I'm gonna say. My number one, in my opinion, the best anime I have ever watched, Attack on Titan. And I know that a lot of people think that. A lot of newer anime fans say this, like, oh my god, Attack on Titan is the best anime ever. I've been watching this shit since 2016, bro. I've been watching this shit since 2016, man, and I've kept up with it every single time it's came out. Like every episode's came out, I've damn near been there for it. And the reason I think it's the GOAT, I think it's the greatest. I arguably it's probably no matter what show I watch, I'd probably say that this is the greatest anime of all time. But the reason I think it's the greatest anime of all time is because I feel like there's a couple of categories that this anime is the greatest in. Like it has, I will say my examples. For example, I think it has the best story in anime. I don't think there's a single better story that's this creative and well done. I don't think there is, and I don't think there will be for a long time. This is, I think, the GOAT, and this is definitely, now that it's over, this generation's classic. This is a classic show, and that's one reason. I think it's the GOAT story, best story I've ever seen. But I think the best story in anime. I know One Piece fans are gonna come on my head for saying that, but One Piece has been airing for 1,000 episodes. What this anime did in less than 100 episodes, and how far it took its story, and how well it explained everything, and with the world building that it had, and all of like the minor plot holes, all of the plot holes in the beginning that it was able to fill with how unique and elaborate the story setup was. I feel like being able to do that in less than 100 episodes is way, way more impressive than One Piece doing what it did in 1,000 episodes. I know One Piece is a good show, but I feel like that's what makes the difference. Attack on Titan has so much quality in such a small quantity. It's crazy. Where I know One Piece has a lot of good, it has good quality, but look at the quantity that it has as well. Like look at the quantity it takes, or not, I want. It's probably been good for a while, but look at the quantity it's taken for it to like really explain its story and everything. Isayama did that shit in less than 100 episodes, and I think that's remarkable what he did. But for one reason, I think it's the best story ever. Another reason, I think it is arguably, you could argue, it is the GOAT, the greatest of all time when it comes to world building. The way they set up the world in the first two seasons, how it expanded and expanded and expanded, and everything made sense. There wasn't anything unrealistic. Even when they had, super spoiler, when they got the plane and everything, that made sense because they didn't even know what it was. They called it an airship. Like, it might seem minor in the grand scheme of things, but when you really look at it, that's a big point. That's a big way of showing how good the world building is. I think Aaron is arguably one of the best MCs. I won't say he is the best. I know there's a lot of good main characters out there. I think Aaron's one of the best MCs that you can think of. I think you could say he's the GOAT. I know a lot of people that would say he's the GOAT, but it's just there's a couple categories that it's the greatest of all time in, and one of the big ones is, what's it called? Is I'm sorry, is the story. I think the story was remarkable. One more thing I will say that I think it's the GOAT at. I think it has the greatest soundtrack of all time. And you might say like, "Oh, that's not the anime. That's like the production." And I feel like the soundtrack and the animation go hand in hand. I don't think it has the greatest animation of all time, but it's not made to have the greatest animation of all time. This show is about its story. Having said that, I think the soundtrack is definitely one of the greatest soundtracks I've ever seen, 100%. And I say that because I think Hajime Isayama did a great job with how he explained the story, and Hiroyuki Sawano just took that and elevated it with the soundtrack to a level that I don't think it would have reached if you didn't have Hiroyuki Sawano doing what he was doing. I think after his latest, I forget what Hiroyuki Sawano I think he just did To Be Hero X, and that soundtrack is also crazy. And I think and I'm on episode, I think I'm caught up with To Be Hero X. From what I've seen, I think Hiroki Sawano is the GOAT anime conductor for sure for soundtracks, 1,000%. Especially because of what he did for Attack on Titan. Those two, it's the GOAT in those two things, 100%. I don't think there's any show that is better than Attack on Titan in those two things. Everything else Attack on Titan is like good at. There's nothing Attack on Titan is bad at. You could argue the ending wasn't that good. I think the ending was fine. Honestly, I think the ending ended like exactly how the author wanted, and that's really all that matters. And it made sense. And with how elaborate this story is, having an ending that even makes sense was, I think, a really big accomplishment. So, I think the ending was fine. There wasn't a lot of romance in this show, and y'all know I'm a romance head. Don't come on, bro. Like I know I'm a fucking romance head, but this anime isn't for that. So it's not that big of a deal for it not to have romance, even though there was minor scenes. But the characters were good, the plot was good. The antagonists, when you find out who they are, and even if they are antagonists, see that's the thing as well. When animes are able to find a way to blur the line between who really is the antagonist and who isn't, that's what elevates an antagonist or the bad guy to be even better. You know, that's what makes an antagonist an antagonist. Look at Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. At the end, was he really even a bad guy? That you asking that question is what makes him a really, really, really good bad character. The antagonist that can blur those lines. The antagonists were amazing in this show, and it's just too many. It's too many things it's good at, and there's a couple categories where I think it's the greatest of all time at. If you are the greatest of all time in more than one category, I think you should be the GOAT. But yeah. Anyway, that's a big reason why I think Attack on Titan's the GOAT. The characters were also very good. Like there's a bunch of things I'm not mentioning because I could sit here and talk about Attack on Titan for hours. But like there's not a lot of things there's almost nothing it's not good slash great at, and it's the GOAT in a couple categories. And it is just also, I mean, partially nostalgia as well. Maybe that's playing a factor why I think it's the greatest, because this is one of the first anime I've ever watched, and I watched it all the way through, like, what, it's almost 10 years. So yeah, that's why this is the GOAT. All right, moving on. Number 2. Oh, what the fuck? Number 2. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yes, I'm Mal maxing. Oh my god, it's ranked number 2. Yeah, that is number 2. I think this is the second best show I've watched. And honestly, I'm not even going to dive too much into it. This is also one of the greatest stories ever. It was written amazing. What they did in 60 episodes was phenomenal. A 100%. Look at when this aired. 2010. Bro. The animation that this show had for 2010 was ridiculous, bro. What? Insane for 2010. I remember watching this show. I watched this show probably in like 2019. I thought this shit aired like 3 years ago. No, bro, this show was damn near a 10-year-old show when I watched it. That's crazy as fuck. But I just wanted to throw that in there. But the reason I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is number 2, and it's not, I don't even have to spend much time on it. My reasoning is very, like, straightforward. There is not one thing Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood does wrong. It is great. I don't think there are a couple things I wouldn't say, because I think Attack on Titan's the things you could say Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the GOAT at is the things I say Attack on Titan's the GOAT at. There are things you could argue that Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the GOAT at. And I think there's things you could argue that there's more things you could argue of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood being the GOAT at than Attack on Titan. But I don't say that. But the reason I have it at 2 is because I think it's great at everything. Characters, story, antagonist, protagonist, deuteragonist, world building, plot, everything. It is great at everything. Everything is top tier. Every single category is an A+ tier or above. It's good at everything. And being that consistent is just it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal to be that good at just everything. And that's honestly the big reason I give it number 2. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's the GOAT at anything, but there's nothing it's bad at. Like, this show has everything you would want in an anime. It's just everything makes sense. All the antagonists are antagonists for a reason. The plot is what it is for a reason. Everything has reasoning, and all the reasoning is good. Everything's good, and not much to say. It was good. It was great at everything. Shout out Carlson, for my friend Carlson. He put me on this show. He didn't even watch that much anime, but he randomly put me on this show. I watched it. It's at the time when I watched it, it was the GOAT for me. That was before Attack on Titan finished. This was my GOAT for a really long time until Attack on Titan finished, to be honest. But yeah, it's great at everything. It's great at everything, and it's not bad at anything. And that's the reason, like, and it's crazy because Attack on Titan is not really bad at anything. But, like, for example, you could nitpick and say romance. It's not that good at romance. It's not supposed to be a romantic show, right? But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood isn't supposed to be a romantic show, and there's romance, and they did it good. And the ending made sense with the romance. That's why, like, there wasn't a lot, but it made sense. That's why the small romance that they had put in there, it made sense, and it ended the show perfectly with with that romance. That's why I think this show is it's phenomenal. It's consistent. This show is the fucking, like, I don't even know, bro. It's insane. It was hands down one of the greatest pieces of fiction I've ever seen. It was damn near it was basically, in my eyes, it's almost a flawless show. Like, the ending, even the ending was just amazing. But yeah, that's my number 2 pick right there. Okay, number 3. Bang, 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 bang. Steins Gate. Oh my god, it's ranked number 3. I'm out. Fuck you. This is the third greatest show I've ever seen. Oh my god, I'm actually malmaxing. This looks really bad. Don't look at this. I have good reasoning for these. I swear I'm not copying Mal. When you get further down into my rankings, everything will make more sense. I'm sorry, okay? But let me talk about Steins Gate.
People fucking forget. People fucking forget how fucking good this show is, dude. Like, this shit aired back in 2011, bro. People just talk about fucking Hunter x Hunter when it comes to 2011. Y'all don't know about fucking Steins Gate. Let me tell you about Steins Gate.
Let me actually tell you about Steins Gate. Shout out to the sequel as well. What is it? Steins Gate Zero? That shit was fire too. But Steins Gate, unique. Time travel's been there's a lot of time travel in fiction. You got Doctor Who. I think that's what that show's called. You got a couple anime that try it. You got a lot of shows like that'll randomly try it in their episodes. It's hard. Time travel is a very, very difficult part of fiction to pull off successfully. And that's why I respect a lot of shows and like pieces of fiction that attempt it, because the problem with time travel, in my opinion, is that when you get into that type of stuff, there's too many spaces for plot holes. And those plot holes and that questioning is really what ruins it. And that's why I rank Steins Gate so highly. The world building made sense. Everything was good. Everything made sense. There was romance. The plot. There were antagonists. There were protagonists. There was a reason for everything. And they took on one of the hardest parts of fiction, which is time travel. And they did it really well. And I have to give credit where credit's due, you know. I feel like taking on such a hard type of fiction and doing such an amazing job with everything where nothing is even like, it's so hard to make time travel not confusing, and they made it not confusing. And I watched it and everything made sense to me. And the plot and the big plot hole that didn't make sense was explained in Steins Gate. Not this one. Not the Deja Vu movie. Where is it? Is it this one? Fuck, I can't find it. It's Steins Gate Zero. Y'all know the sequel. The big question that like people didn't understand was explained in Steins Gate Zero. And for that reason, like I feel like taking on such a hard topic and doing such a good job with it, I have to give it number 3, bro. I loved this show, bro. I fucking loved it, man. I remember when I first watched it, dude. I probably finished this in like 2 days. Steins Gate 1 and Steins Gate 0, I probably finished collectively in like 2 weeks, maybe a week, honestly, like a week's worth of time. Like I was just done. Fuck, bro. It was a good ass show. I loved it, and for that reason, I give it a what's it called? I gave it 3. I don't remember it having a lot of flaws, and they took on a really hard topic in fiction, and they did it perfectly. It is the GOAT, in my opinion, of time travel in anime, for sure. A lot of other anime have done it, not as good as this. And I don't think a time travel anime will ever come out that is as good as Steins Gate. Especially with how hard time travel is to understand. But yeah, it's my number 3. Number 4, I think, if I'm correct, this is Monster. Yes, sir. Bang! See? Rare pull. Oh my god. He's not following the Mal algorithm anymore. It's not at number 4. Oh my god. No, bro, it's not number 4 on Mal. I don't even know what the fuck number 4. It's probably like Gintama or some shit. But, which is ironic because I haven't seen Gintama. Maybe I would put it up here if I seen it, but I haven't. Anyway, Monster. Okay. Kind of a rare pull. I don't know if many of you guys have probably seen this, but Monster. It's about I'll explain a little bit because it's a little more of a niche pick. It's about this doctor who performed surgery on this little boy, and the little boy, he had a bullet in his head, and the doctor successfully saved him, and the little boy grows up to be a serial killer, and the doctor and he can not. I don't know if he tried. I don't remember if he tried. I don't think he convinces everyone, but everyone thinks that the doctor's actually the serial killer, and that's kind of what this show is about. The boy's name is Johann Liebert. I think Liebert. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It takes place in Germany. So my whole thing about this show is Johann Liebert. I think when I think of antagonists in fiction, not just anime, when I think of antagonists in fiction, the two big ones that come to my mind, the two goats, Darth Vader and the Joker. Those, in my opinion, are probably number one and number two when it comes to the goats of fiction. I think Johann is number three. From the fiction that I've seen, from the fiction that I know and I've seen, Johann, I think, is the third greatest antagonist in fiction. I think he is easily not. I don't think it's even close. He is the greatest antagonist in anime by miles. Like no one's close. Like he's actually like there's like a 1 and 2. It's not 1A, 1B, 1. No, Johann is the greatest antagonist in anime, and that's a big boost of why I have this anime so high. Two big reasons. Also, I love the world building. This show, it takes place in Amsterdam or Germany. Correct me if I'm wrong. It takes place in that area. I loved the world building. Mind you, this show came out in 2004, 2005. This show actually came out. The first episode aired about 30 days. No, I would say like 22, 23 days after before I was born. Well, so this show was airing while I was when I was born, when I was conceived. No, when I was being birthed, this show was airing. And for the year it came out and how well it was done, it was perfect. This is back whenever, anime didn't have to be 12 episodes. The anime didn't have to be 24 episodes. This anime was 74 episodes. It did whatever it wanted to do. Also, shout out to Studio Madhouse. These were Madhouse's earlier years, They were still finding out what type of animes they wanted to do, I think, or what they were interested in. They did an amazing job, especially for the year it came out. Like, the animation was perfect. Like, because this show wasn't about a lot of animation. It was about the story. It was about the story and the characters. The characters are what made this show. And I think this show, you could argue it has the most goated setup of characters. And and it's amazing. It's so beautiful what animes can do when they're allowed the episodes and the time to do it. 74 episodes is a lot of episodes. You could drag out a show, or you could make a great show perfect. And that's one thing I think that Monster did very well, because the characters carried so hard in this show because of the type of show it was. And because of that, it takes a lot. You need a lot of episodes to really like get down into the nitty gritty of why these characters are so good. And they were allowed to do that, and it was amazing. And that's a big reason. I also loved Monster. I finished it really fast. This was the 100th anime I ever watched. Monster. I watched it maybe like 2 years ago, around there. Johann just, I knew he was a good antagonist coming in, but it's just the way they set him up was, I have no words, man. It was beautiful. I think that's the big reason I have it at number 4. I think, yeah, number 4. Everything made sense. The story explained itself very well because I had a lot of time to explain it. The characters' introductions, who the characters were, what they wanted, was perfect. I loved how in depth they got with the characters, because that's what the show was based on, and they did what they wanted to do very well, and I loved it. It was unique. There's never been a show like this. There's never been, out of all the anime I've named, there hasn't been a lot of shows like them. Like Steins Gate, you could argue there's more time travel shows, but not this good. But yeah, that's why I have Monster at my number 4. Number 24 on Mal, by the way. Not number 4 on Mal. So, kind of a rare pull. Anyway, yeah. Number 4. I got Monster. Let's go. Number 5, if I'm not wrong, I think it's... Code Geass. Okay. I thought this was a different show. I forgot I had Code Geass in here. Okay, Code Geass. I'm not gonna lie, this show has a lot of fans. I don't think I need to spend much time on it. Great story, great animation. I think did Madhouse do it? No, it's a different studio. My bad. I apologize. Great story, great animation, great fighting, great characters. The reason I have it lower than the other four, when people would put this in their top three, I barely scratched my top five at five. The reason I have it at five is there are a couple episodes I remember, like that episode where the cat took Lelouch's helmet. What the fuck was that, bro? Like there was episodes here and there that were kind of, we could have done without them. And in the previous shows, every episode mattered. Every episode was important. Every episode had meaning. Every episode was taking you somewhere in the show. There were a couple episodes in Code Geass that weren't like that, and it does make up for it for how unique the story is, and how amazing Lelouch is as an MC. He's up there with Eren, one of the greatest MCs of all time. He's compared with Eren a lot, actually, but I think Eren's a little bit cleaner of a character. The one thing I will say, Code Geass did. Code Geass is the GOAT. I think we can all agree on this. Code Geass had the GOAT ending, one of the greatest endings in anime. I would say from the fiction I've seen, it's one of the greatest endings in fiction, but it's one of the greatest anime endings. It's the greatest, not one of the greatest anime ending I've seen. And these days, it's hard to find really good animes that end really well. A lot of people weren't satisfied with the Attack on Titan ending. Mob Psycho, the anime just ended. I was satisfied. It was a good ending, but I feel like something was a little missing because of season 3 not being as hype as the other seasons. Where Code Geass, the ending was amazing, and the ending made sense. Not only was it perfect, it made sense, and I have to put it in my top 5 because the ending was too perfect. And Code Geass was just superb, man. I remember watching this show. I was so hooked. I think this was the first show I ever put my girlfriend on as well. She loved it. She didn't like it as much as me, but it was a good show. Also, the romance, I like the romance as well. It was kind of here and there. It was there when it mattered, and it played a role. Sometimes the show did feel a little stretched out. There's a couple big moments that happened that could have been easily avoided if the show didn't want to be like as, I don't know. There was a couple moments that were stretched out, but nonetheless, I do put it top 5. I think it is my 5th best show I've ever watched. Everyone's seen it. You know it's really good. I just think the 4 anime that I put above it are slightly better and are slightly more consistently better throughout their series, their respective series. But yeah. That's my reason. I got Code Geass at my 5 spot. Number 6. Now this is one of my favorite animes. Not only is it one of the best anime I've ever watched, it is one of my favorites. Bang! Made in Abyss. If you guys haven't seen Made in Abyss, please. I will say, it's a very dark anime. It's gory. It's disturbing. It's one anime, one movie, and a season 2. Season 1 movie, season 2. My bad. This show, I loved it. Honestly. And I know why it gets hate. I know why people shit on it a lot. I know why people are like, why the fuck would you want to watch that? And I get that. But when I watch anime, of course I understand the negatives. Of course I understand where people are coming from, but I look at it as fiction, as someone's just the creative mind, and the intentions are not for it to be weird. The intentions are for for you to go through the world and for you to really understand these characters and where they're coming from, and to understand how difficult the goal is that the main character is trying to achieve. That's what this show's about. And there's a lot of and the dark and disturbing details in the show are highlighted, I feel like, for a more like, fuck, what's the word, for you to be able to really connect with the show. Not connect, that's the wrong word. Fuck, what's the word? It's immersed. That those dark moments, they're there for you to be immersed in how difficult the goal is that the main character is trying to achieve. And that's the reason why, like, it might sound like really weird, but I try to look past the really the really like dark things people like that people highlight and are like, why the fuck would you watch that because of this? I get that, but it's so much more than that. And the author did not make this show because of that. It's just, this show is so much more, and I really hope you guys give it a chance. If you give it a chance and you think and you're put off because it's too much for you, I understand that 100%. That's cool. This show's really dark. But if you can just enjoy it for the story that it is, especially season 2, man. When I watched, man, season 2, that season, I remember it wasn't talked about that much, and it was beautiful. Season 2 was just, I loved it. I think this show is up there with the GOAT of world building, 1,000%. I think the world building in the show was one of a kind. I think this is next to, I don't think it's done as clean, but I think it is one of the most unique worlds in fiction and unique stories I've ever seen. I don't think it's so hard. It's so crazy how creative authors can be, because I would never be able to think of something like this. It's super unique. And huge shout out to Kevin Penkin. He is my personal. Remember, I said Hiroyuki Sawano is the GOAT anime music conductor. Kevin Penkin is my favorite. Made in Abyss's soundtrack is my favorite soundtrack I've ever listened to. I loved it. I listen to it all the time. Actually, whenever I'm on my way to work, whenever I'm on the bus, like, I always think about this show, and I always think about, what's it called? I always think about this soundtrack. It's so peaceful, and it's brings out so many emotions, especially the second season. The second season's soundtrack was phenomenal, man. Old Stories, The Fourth Layer, those oh man, the soundtrack. This anime holds a really special place in my heart. I loved it. I remember when season 2 aired, it gave me a lot of hope in how good anime is. And yeah, just if you ever give it a chance, I know there's a lot of mixed opinions about it because of how dark it is and the things that it shows, but if you can look past that and really see that that's only for the immersion of how difficult the quest for the MC really is, then I think you'll really love this show. And that's what I have to say. I have it in its spot because the world building is phenomenal. The story is one of the most unique I've ever seen. And I think everything else, I mean, it's good at a lot of things. And those are the big reasons. I love this show. But yeah. And shout out to Kevin Penkin once again. Huge soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. It's just, this show is really good. Really, really good. I think, what are we on now? I think this is my number, what's it called? I don't even know. I think this is my number, because we're at Attack on Titan. Right. We did Attack on Titan, Full Metal, Steins Gate, Monster Code Geass. I think Made in Abyss, yeah. I think next, if I'm not wrong, it should be Vinland Saga. Right. Okay. All right. Well, lots of people have seen this show. Everybody knows Vinland Saga. I feel like Vinland Saga, this was the beginning of the Mappa rise too. I remember because Wit did season 1, if I'm not mistaken, and then Mappa did season 2, and Mappa did this while it was doing Attack on Titan, which there were a lot of people that were like, is it going to be good? Is the animation going to hold up? Because they're doing so many projects. It held up, and it did its thing. It was very good. This show, Thorfinn is up there with one of the greatest main characters of all time. When you think of the greatest seinen main characters, you think of Thorfinn, Guts, and that's who I think of mainly. Those two are the main ones. I guess Eren, if you count Attack on Titan, as seinen, but Thorfinn is up. Thorfinn is a big reason why this show is as good as it is because he's such an amazing main character. The reason I have it as low as I do is because I watched so much Vinland Saga content before watching season 2 that I feel like all of the character development that people talked about was a little overhyped. Like, yes, the character development was amazing. Yes, it makes sense. Yes, I have no enemies. Like the all-time quote, it made sense to me. Like it was like, okay, I see why you're saying this, and I see why people said what they said. But because they overhyped it to a level where it would have never reached for me. Like there was no way the character development would have been good to the point where I would sit there and be like, okay, that's why people say it. No, it never got to that point. And that overrated feeling is why I just have it so much, not so much lower, but lower than these other anime that I have above it. But season 2 was amazing. Season 1 was phenomenal. The animation, phenomenal. Openings were phenomenal. Soundtrack was good. Everything so far in Vinland Saga has been really good. And once again, super unique. It takes place like during the Viking Age and all that stuff. You know, war is everything. War. If you win in war, you win like in life. Like that's everything in this show. And Thorfinn's, like the way Thorfinn goes into that war. Like I want war, the revenge, and then he turns into what he is now. It's beautiful, man. It was great to watch, and it's just he really is what it means to be like. He's a good person, and when I watch Vinland Saga, Vinland Saga is the big reason why I just try to be a good person. Like every day, like I don't know. Vinland Saga is a big reason why I wake up and I try to be the best version of myself that I can be, because like I don't know, I feel like waking up and just being negative or wanting, like for example how Thorfinn woke up every day for 10 years wanting revenge, and when eventually he couldn't do that anymore, his life was just, it didn't mean anything. So I feel like if you wake up to achieve some negative goal or in some negative way, whenever you get finished being that negative person, if you have no good in you or no good outlook on what you want to do with your life, it's just, you're empty, bro. And being negative and hating and wanting revenge like Thorfinn did, it's just, it'll kill you inside. Like being just bad and bad and bad and bad and being a bad person it ruins you. And I just loved the message that this anime had, and they did it so well. Like I said, I was overhyped with how the character development was going to be, but nonetheless, it did deliver. It delivered, and it was very good. And just, I love the message it gives. That's a big reason why I have it top 10. It's just, I love the message. It was consistent in most other aspects. There wasn't a lot of romance, but like I said, shows aren't about romance. This show was unique, and it did its thing. And I think that it is where it is, and it's better than the other anime I've seen. Mind you, by the way, I've seen 150 anime. I'll show a list of anime I've seen in a later video, but as of right now, I have this at 8. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's why I got Vinland Saga where it's at. Number 9. What is this? Oh no, that was 7. Because Made in Abyss was 6, Vinland Saga was 7. Frieren is number 8. Yeah. Recency bias, slightly, I will say. There is some slight recency bias because it did just air, and we've never seen, I have never seen an anime in the 10 years that I've been watching anime. I have never seen an anime come in and just take the number 1 spot on Mal and just be what everyone's talking about and just be like, boom, like GOAT talks, damn near. I've never seen that before. And I've been in this space for almost 10 years and I've never seen that, like, boom, GOAT talk. That's crazy. And this show, like, I thought it was overhyped. I seen how high it was on Mal. I was like, I'll eventually watch it. I watched it. I've only felt the feeling that I felt with this show. I've only felt it with a handful of anime, and those anime are mostly in my top 3, top 4. And you might ask, "Oh my god, if it made you feel like that, why isn't it in your top 4?" This anime is not finished. Those anime in my top 4 are all finished. This anime is not finished. It could go very bad very quick. The animation could fall off. There's a bunch of reasons why it could end up not being in my top 4 or whatever. This anime, but if we're going off how it made it feel, I could arguably put this anime top 3. This anime was amazing. Like, I just I finished watching it after it finished airing. Even the dub was good, but I watched it subbed, and man, I was hooked. Every single episode was good. The show itself, like, the characters, I loved them so much. Like, they made me feel so good watching their story. It was phenomenal. The story itself is also very unique because, like I said, Beyond Journey's End, the big story that the show is supposed to be about is over. Now is everything after, following Frieren and her, like, her journey with emotions and who she really, like, understanding, like, what time really means to her, and just realizing all these things after the fact. I just love being a part of, like, her journey. No pun intended. I love being a part of it and seeing, like, oh my god, this is why her story matters. This is why she's so like, this is why she wants to do what she wants to do. And the character, like, I loved every flashback they showed of Himmel. I loved every, like, interaction that Frieren and Himmel have in her flashbacks. I love Stark and Fern. I love their camaraderie, and I love the friendship that they have. Like, it's beautiful to see. Hopefully it'll develop into something romantic. You know, I'm feeling for that shit. But yeah, I hope. It's just, this anime, when I watched it gave me hope. It gave me hope in the future of this medium, because this show was just so amazing. I loved the feeling I had when I was watching this show. It was so well done. The animation was good. Madhouse probably cemented itself as, like, one of the goats. It might be the GOAT, honestly, of animation studios after all this time. When I think of the GOATs, I think of, like, Madhouse, Ufotable, Mappa now, pretty much. Shit. I think of Toei, but I don't know. Madhouse is just, they have too many good names under their belt, and especially with Frieren being here now, it's just amazing. The show was amazing. The plot was just, it was so unique, and I don't know. This show was damn near, like, I'm damn near just saying it's top 10 because of how it made me feel, but it was good. It was really, really, really good. I loved it, man. I loved it. I can't, I don't even have words to explain how good this show is. This show, out of every, look at me, my fucking eyes. Look at me in my eyes. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much, by the way, because it means a lot to see if you guys really, like, care to see how much I really enjoy this medium and how much I just like getting my opinion out there. Look at me in my eyes. Listen. Out of every anime that's airing right now or that is continuing, Frieren has the highest potential of being the greatest anime of all time. Frieren airing is like Attack on Titan when it aired in 2013. This anime has the potential of becoming the GOAT one day. If it does everything consistently, it can definitely be the GOAT. And that's why I have it top 10. The potential it has and how good this first season was and how everything went, I have to give it top 10. I think this was my 8 spot. I know what my 9 and 10 are. I don't know. I'm going to get a lot of hate for my 9. For my number 9. Y'all finna be on my ass if y'all really give a fuck. But you know? You know what I'm saying? Huh? Y'all fucking with it? Okay. Mushoku Tensei. So, I know what everyone says about Rudeus. let me be the first one to say I'm not a huge fan of him either. If I'm being completely honest, I fuck with his like fight with like who he is, and I fuck with like him overcoming like everything that's happened to him. But let me be the first to say, I don't. I see. I know exactly where all of you come from, and I know exactly why all of you are so anti Mushoku Tensei, and I get that. But don't hate on me because I can overlook those things that you guys are so upset about and enjoy this show for the good that it has, and enjoy the show for similar to how Maiden Abyss is. Enjoy the show for what it's supposed to be. Let me tell you something about this. Let me tell y'all something. When you think of isekai, there's two animes. Two animes that are the GOAT of isekai. You have ReZero, and you have Mushoku Tensei. And I only have one of those anime on my top 10 of all time. And you're looking at it. So, what you're looking at right here is, in my opinion, and my correct opinion, because if you disagree, I think you're wrong. Because this is my subjective top 10, and I've seen the anime, not the light novel, anime, ReZero. This show is better than ReZero. This show is better than ReZero. Even if I don't like the MC as much, the story's better. The story's better. I love the animation is better. The characters are better. I don't know about the plot. The plot's kind of the same. The plot's kind of like they're both like, I think they're neck and neck when it comes to plot. I have it top 10 because in this generation of anime, everything is isekai. Isekai is meta right now. And for you to be the GOAT of the meta category, which of anime that's airing right now, I feel like you deserve a spot in the top 10. Also, when I watched season 1, season 2, I was hooked. I was super hooked. I loved this show. I loved the characters. Rudy's just a fucking weirdo. I get that. I try to look past it. Really hard to look past it. Sometimes I can't look past it, and I'm looking at TV. I'm looking at the anime. I'm like, I'm looking. I'm like, okay, damn, what a good fight. You know, I'm looking at it like that too. It'll get weird. It gets weird sometimes, a lot of times, but when I can look past it, this show's beautiful. This show's beautiful. I love the plot. I love what it's about. And I don't know. I just think it's the GOAT isekai, and isekai's been the thing and is the thing right now still. And for you to be the GOAT at something that's really good right now, that the main category of every fucking show that airs, there's literally an anime that aired last season about a fucking vending machine in another world. And you're gonna tell me fucking isekai is not meta, bro? Motherfuckers are trying to get paid off the isekai shit. And Mushoku Tensei is an isekai, but it's an isekai made out of love. Sometimes the wrong kind of love, but it's made out of love, alright? And yeah, I don't even. If y'all seen the show, y'all know why I have it. That's why I have it at 9. But yeah, it's better than ReZero. Fuck you if you disagree. I think it's better than ReZero. I've seen both. So if you're gonna sit there and be like, nah, it's not as good, I've seen both. It's not better. Anyway, number 10. Burger King Fall. No, I'm kidding. Number 10. Can y'all guess what it is? I'll give y'all a hint. Hiroyuki Sawano did the soundtrack. It's recent. Lilas, who is a part of Yaosobai, who I think she's the singer, she's on the soundtrack. Can y'all guess what it is? 5, 4. 86. Burger King. No, I'm just kidding. 86, man. The reason I have it top 10. I'm not a big mecha fan. I put this show off for a really long time, honestly, as well, because I'm not a big mecha fan. I have it top 10 because this show is just... Quite frankly, I think the biggest reason I had it top 10 was because of the characters. And the characters' relationship with each other and Handler 1, if y'all have seen the show. It might seem kind of like a very specific reason, and it's not fair because the other shows you can't compare that really because there's not a similar like type of relationship between characters that the handlers have with the what's it called, the the squad, the with fucking Spearhead Squadron right there. You don't see that type of relationship a lot of animes, and I see it, and I seen it here. And honestly, the plot is cool. The plot, everything was. I mean, there wasn't really anything bad about it. The plot was good. Hiroyuki Sawano did the soundtrack, so that gave it a big boost, big boost, as to why I like it so much. But the biggest reason was the characters and the camaraderie between the characters and how they talk to each other. And a big thing was the suspense as well. I loved how suspenseful this show was. Man, I was watching this show and I'm sitting there watching. I don't know. I don't know if this character is going to survive. I don't know if this character is going to die, which is hard to predict in really good shows. Most of the top 10, I can't do it. Some of them I couldn't do it, but this one I really couldn't do it. I don't know who was going to die. I don't know what was going to happen. And I loved the relationship that each character's had. It might be kind of a cop-out reason to put it top 10. Yes, I see, because every other anime I broke down really well, but I love the characters. I think the characters in this show were so good. There was such a big amount of characters, and they all made sense, and every character got their explanation. Every character I love it. I love when they can explain, when they have time to make characters so good. And like I said, it might sound like a cop out. I put it top 10 because of the characters, and I loved it, and the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. And yeah, most of these animes, all these animes that I put top 10 also made me feel something, man. They really made me feel good when I was watching. I loved it. I loved watching them. Like, it's hard for me to put an anime top 10 where I didn't feel anything. I have a couple honorable mentions that I probably won't talk about. I mean, maybe I'll skim through them, but like I'll name a couple of them, but just I don't know. I love this show, man. Remember, this is my top 10. I'll make another one in a year's time. But as of right now, this is my top 10. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say about 86. I love the characters, and the characters really, really, really carried for me. I feel like after the top 5, there's a couple like there's a couple of the honorable mentions. You could swap out a couple of them for my top 5. It's just I didn't do it because I found more reasons to put these specific animes in my top 10. But yeah, a matter of fact, I have a Google Docs of it. Let me go to Google Docs. Actually, no. I can spitball it. My honorable mention, I have Violet Evergarden in there. If y'all have seen Violet Evergarden is a great show. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. Very emotional show. Loved how it made me feel really good. I mean, not really good. I was crying like a bitch watching this show, but Violet Evergarden was very good. I also put Black Lagoon's not as good of a show as these other shows, but it's one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. I loved Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon, very, very, very good show. If y'all have seen Oregairu, I think this is the GOAT romance anime. I think, or Kaguya-sama Love is War, but I haven't seen Kaguya-sama. I think from the anime I've seen, this is, my opinion, the best romance anime I've seen. Very, 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 very good. Very good show. It's just there was just other shows are good at too many things. This is very good at one thing, and it's hard for me to put a top 10 when it's like that. But this is one of my favorite shows as well. Like I said, there's shows that I liked more than the ones in my top 10, but they just weren't as good as the shows in my top 10. Anyway, yeah, those are just 2 honorable mentions that I'll say. There's a couple. That was 3. There's a couple more I could say, but I don't want to get too far into it. But yeah, that was my top 10. It's subjective to change, obviously, as all things are. Next year it'd probably be something different. Frieren season 2 is supposed to come out in January of next year. So after that airs, Frieren might move up a couple of spots. It might completely get out of the list. You never know. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a Vinland Saga season 3 eventually. Also, another reason I will say 86 was as low as it was is because there's no season 3. The show's not over yet, and I feel like the way the show's built, it could go very bad very quick, and I just kind of have it there as just in case. But that was my top 10 list. If you enjoyed, give it a like. This was a way longer of a video than I wanted, but I just wanted you guys to get to know me. If you don't watch the whole video, that's cool. If you don't even get to this part, that's cool. I would just appreciate if you guys just skim through the video, just seeing what I said about a couple of the anime that I watched, and yeah. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Shout out to School Days.